You get your down, thrust the pelvis, thrust the pelvis, thrust the pelvis, thrust the pelvis, thrust the pelvis,
Well, thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast. Oh, I have a list of things. We'll figure it out.
We're doing it live. Got it.
We're streaming this.
We'll do it live.
We're streaming this.
Nothing but professionals here.
It's too casual to be hardcore, but too hardcore to be casual. I'm Adrian.
God damn it, Danny.
Hello, and welcome to the Hardcore Casuals Podcast, the podcast for the working class geek that's too hardcore to be casual, but too casual to be hardcore. I'm Danny.
I'm David.
I'm Ivy.
Thanks for joining us. This has been the Hardcore...
That's usually the part where Adrian says, and on today's show, we're going to be...
All right, so on today's
there,
show, we're going to be talking about... Take us away, David.
I saw that coming.
I mean,
Well,
you're the one
one
with the list. The rest of us
you-
peons are just going with the flow.
I
you're the
don't
one
have a
with the
list.
notes.
I checked it twice, and I realized I don't have a list.
You have notes, so apparently you don't have notes.
I do not have notes.
His
I
note was
just
to make
lying.
notes.
No, but first off, let's congratulate Adrian. He's not here, not for this reason. It's for unfortunate other reasons why he's not able to join us today. But
That's what we're congratulating him for?
No, we're going to congratulate him for the fact that he is now engaged. He did ask his girlfriend of many years for marriage, and
Awesome!
and she accepted. So, congrats to them too. We'll see them very soon. I guess he'll give us the whole rundown of how everything went. But we were expecting to have him today so he could tell us about how everything went over in Tennessee. He took her out on a Christmas vacation to Tennessee, and they decided to just play it cool, like on a mountaintop. And I guess he popped a question somewhere around there, which I told him via text. I was like, it's a good idea you took her out there. So if she said no, no one would have heard her.
And then no one would hear her screams.
But he was like, no, there were plenty of people around. And I go, plan was foiled.
You basically pressured her into saying yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Adrian.
Yeah, congratulations to Adrian and Maria. They're now happily engaged. But like I said, they're going through some unfortunate stuff right now with family. But let's wish them the best, pray for the best, and hopefully everything turns out okay. And we can see them next week on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. Oh no, it would be Dragon Ball Super.
But today, we're joined by Ivy, who hasn't been here in at least a fortnight.
Fortnite.
My God,
Another game
I
I
can't believe
just-
you still use that time of reference.
Another game
Full
I
score
dislike.
on 7
Full
years
score.
ago. So, what's new with you, Ivy?
Oh, I just finished catching up on some games. I beat Horizon Zero Dawn, which has earned its praise. That's an amazing game from beginning to end. Everything about it is fantastic. The graphics, the storytelling, the open world, everything. I loved it. And then I also played The Last of Us, which was long overdue, which was also an amazing game. And I am currently playing Subnautica. So, that's
Nice.
me.
I look forward
So-
to playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon or Last of Us?
Oh yeah, which one was better?
You can't. They're good for different reasons, though. Like, they have a completely different style of gameplay. One's
Great game
one's
or
open world.
the greatest game?
Arguably. Nah, I can't.
What are you feeling?
Can't make that
They're two
choice.
different kinds of games. It's survival horror and open world kind of RPG, but you've got to be able to make that choice. Someone's got a gun to your head and says
No!
you will not survive another minute unless you choose one of these two games. Give me your game of the year. Definitive edition.
Oh, I can't. They're both so good.
I would say Last of Us, but because I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn yet,
Well,
I'm
then
actually
your opinion
no.
doesn't matter.
no. I'm gonna be streaming it fairly soon. That's gonna be my next game on the
How
list.
soon?
It is worth it.
Soon. When will
No.
then be now?
Look, I know you're not one to collect, like, you're not into collectibles and stuff, but
Oh,
the
no, no, no.
ones
If
in
the
that
game is-
game,
If the game is good enough, I will collect every motherfucking thing. Origins, I've collected every motherfucking thing. In fact, the only reason why I haven't platinumed it is because I've pretty much reached the end of the ropes with that. So basically, I have like a few more trophies to get before I platinum it. But, bro, Origins, I did every side mission. In fact, that's what I did. I did every side mission until I got to 40. Then I continued the story. if you watch my streams. That's literally what I did.
That's pretty much what I did with Horizon Zero Dawn as well. But it's good because every single piece of like collectibles and stuff is all adding to the story, and
Okay,
like
all right.
it's really story rich, and there's a lot of little details here and there that you can pick up. And all the side missions, like many of them actually influence the story, and at the very least they influence the final battle. So
Okay.
I suggest you do them.
Okay, good. So, because that's Origins. I don't know if you've played it yet or if you're going to play it, but Origins, a lot of the side missions had like full-on dialogue, full-on cutscenes, and a lot of it tied into the main story, and a lot of it branched off from the main story. A lot of them branched off from the main story, and I was pretty impressed by how well they had done. They had put all of that together, because every side mission actually meant something. It actually progressed the story and gave it life. The 2 years that they took off to make this game was well deserved, because holy crap, they put out a very good product.
Which is amazing, because they literally, that gaming company had never done something like this before. They had just done, I think, fighting games or something like that. Like,
Horizon?
nothing, huh?
No,
For Horizon, you're saying? Or
Talking
for
about
For
Assassin's Creed?
Horizon.
Oh,
Or- sorry, talking
Horizon.
about Horizon.
Horizon's from Guerrilla. They did Killzone.
Yeah,
right, the
that's
Killzone games. Oh,
that's
that's
the
right.
kinda-
The
Yeah,
shooters.
yeah, that's the kind of games that they normally put out. They'd never, like, done something like Horizon Zero Dawn before, and they fucking nailed it.
That's
Now,
really
let me
good. I
tell
look
you
forward to
why
playing
The Last of Us is a far superior game to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Have you played them both?
Oh, okay.
I have. Now, I haven't beaten Horizon. I've gotten like 90% of the way through, and then I gave it to Danny so he could stream it. But
I know you're gonna say atmosphere. Like, that's one of your favorite, like, buzzwords right now.
yeah, I do appreciate a good ambiance.
Ambiance.
Like a good bouquet.
Wingardium Leviosa.
There is something about a good clicker in the atmosphere. But Horizon, I feel like some of these open world games, I feel like go a little too far in overstaying their welcome. I feel like Horizon had a fantastic premise. It goes to the point in the early story, this isn't spoilers, it's just part of the game, where the main character confronts the vault in the very beginning of the game, and it's like, now you're going to be set on your quest, so you could open up this vault and find out what's behind it and what the hell's going on. That is a fantastic premise to start the game and start your journey. Everything up until that point was lock solid narrative. It was like boom, boom, story point, story point, story point. Then they open up the world. And then you get bombarded with a lot of nonsense. The game is at least nice enough to tell you these aren't side quests, these are errands. At times they're just errands, it's shit that doesn't matter, but you want to go do it anyways. And that doesn't really help with the story, but it's filling out, like you said, it does fill out the world, which is nice. But it feels like after a certain point, it's overstayed its welcome. It's a little bit too much. I prefer a narrative that's like really locked in, which is what Last of Us was, where it was like, this is our story. It's a whole chunky, meaty piece of meat. When you get to the end of that, you're like, holy dog nuts, that was a ass fuckery of greatness. I don't know if you guys know anything about it. I mean, what?
Wait, hold on. Okay, let me pose you this question though, and hopefully without revealing too many spoilers. Danny, close your ears. For Horizon Zero Dawn, some of the tribes that you encounter are various degrees of open to learning about the old
Outsiders.
ones. No, learning
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
old
yeah,
ones
the old
and
ones, yeah.
technology, right? To me, a lot of those side quests and errands that you can choose to go on kind of represents what your stance is on how far you care about learning about the old ones. Are you going to be like the more traditional approach where, no, I'm good, I don't need to know? Or are you going to be one of those people that's going to really dive in and learn everything that you can about the old ones and what happened before to the land? I mean,
There
it's
is
how
cool
you
stuff
choose-
about that. I
it's how you
liked the
choose to
different.
play it.
I did like those different aspects of the Karja and the I forgot what the name of the Oseram, I think they're called.
Yeah, the
like
Oseram.
the different little tribes. Well, some are bigger than others, but I think what kind of pulled me out of the experience a little bit is that, for example, at the very beginning of the game, you get the Hunter Trial quest. And the hunter trials, there's like about 5 of them or something like that throughout the world. But at the very beginning of the game, you get your first hunter trials, and it's like your quest is to go speak to Legan at the Hunter's Lodge. The Hunter's Lodge is in fucking Meridian, which is like the main fucking quest of the game, to get to Meridian. And that's a long time before you get there, unless you just say, fuck everything, I'm just going to run straight over there. Machines be damned. I don't care. But that little bit kind of felt like I didn't appreciate the pacing of that. I feel like you should have built up a little bit more until maybe I'm like picking at stuff here. I'm nitpicking because I feel like that kind of thing should have been, you do your first hunter trials. Hey, you did a great job on this. There's another hunter trials over here if you want to earn more Blazing Suns. Go to that one. And by the end of it, holy crap, you've assembled all the Blazing Suns. Go talk to Legan at the Hunter's Lodge. I feel like that would have been a better progression of the story with that quest chain, as opposed to right at the beginning. Oh, you got your first Blazing Sun. Go over there and talk to this guy, so you can.
The only reason I would disagree, because technically you can't even trade those in until you have gone to all of them and at least earned half suns at all of them. You can't get shit for it. But the only reason I would disagree is because by going to the Hunter's Lodge, there is another side quest that you can do, and you don't necessarily have to do any of the Hunter's Lodge bullshit if you don't want to. So you still have to go there in order to find out about that other side quest. You know what I mean?
But that's what I feel like is the broken pacing, where they should have separated those two, where it's like you didn't need the Hunter's Lodge to do that other side quest, because once you get to Meridian, it's quest galore. You got a bunch of shit over there.
Yeah.
And you could have been doing side stuff the entire way up till there. And you're like, man, I'm almost done with the game. And then you get to Meridian and you're like, oh, fuck my life. This shit just got real.
That's exactly what I did. I did every side quest before going to Meridian. And then I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, me too. I was going through the whole game. And when I got to Meridian, I was thinking, oh, I'm almost done. And then when I got to Meridian, I did a whole bunch of it. And then I go to the outskirts of Meridian and I find other little towns with extra shit. And I'm like, fuck you, Gorilla. Like, fuck this game, fuck you guys. I wanted the story of where the hell is this girl going and what's up with her life.
You could have just followed the main quest then.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I gotta touch everything. I told Danny the other day, I gotta press all the buttons. That's why I stopped playing Deus Ex. I need to hack all the machines. Yep. You give me machines that say hack, I gotta press the button. I can't move past that until I hack the machine. So you can't have it both
ways. You can't get mad at, like, wanting to do everything when you have the option not to do everything.
I'm one of the people that I appreciate games that are 2 to 6 hours long. I don't get pissed off when a game is too short. I get pissed off when a game is too long. And there's a lot of people that just want to spend their $60 and have a game that lasts them a fucking eternity. But in this day and age where you get bombarded with so many different experiences, I don't want 100 and 200 hour games. It took me 34 hours or 40 hours to get to Meridian. What the fuck is that? That's like a whole RPG by itself just to get to Meridian. And that's like the halfway point of the fucking game.
Assassin's Creed Origins main story, I gotta say, is less than 14 hours.
Most of those games are. Like, I'm sure you could beat Horizon in less than 14 as well. If you just said, fuck everything, I'm gonna go run through the game.
And a lot of people do. Not everyone is like you and me where we have to fucking do everything. We have to push all the buttons.
I feel like most people are like us, though.
It has a lot of options for whatever your playstyle is.
For Deus Ex, I pushed every single button that game had to offer. Every single one.
Keep in mind that it is an RPG, and RPGs usually have a lot of quests. That's kind of what happens in RPGs.
I don't know. It's an action for doing RPG.
Okay, whatever. It's a fucking RPG.
Okay? Details.
You can't punish a game for being what it is. Like, that's
to tell you the
genre.
truth, like, while I was playing Horizon, as I ran through those fields, the only thing I could think of is how much I would have loved that game to be an MMO. There's something about how the game looks and how the game plays that I feel like it's dying to have other players in that world, other tribes people that joined this world for the other tribes, and everyone's doing their shit together and going to fight machines or... Basically, if you take Horizon's world...
You want to make it into a Monster Hunter, is what you're
saying
right now.
Exactly. If you take Horizon and you mash it with Monster Hunter, and you make this evil little hell baby out of the two of them, that is a fucking monster.
That's a different game now. That's a different even style of game. So
It could
You would get out.
be,
No, no. You,
really
you
good.
would. You would start playing and then start bitching about the fact that you want to press all the buttons and don't have the time to press all the buttons.
No, I would start bitching about the game being too long. Like, why the fuck is this MMO so long?
Jeez.
MMOs don't end. Well, then why the fuck am I playing this shit?
But going back to The Last of Us, that really was a great, amazing game with rich storytelling. It was extremely linear, but that was the style of it, so I'm not punishing it like you are for Horizon. And it had, I wouldn't say the most satisfying ending, but the most believable ending. Mm-hmm. It stayed true to the characters, and I can appreciate that.
What I don't like about Last of Us is only what they're doing with Last of Us 2.
What do
I don't know
mean?
if have you seen the trailer for Last of Us 2?
No, we were just talking about how they're going to make a second. I haven't actually seen anything for it, though.
It's kind of like a completely separate story, which I can get. Like, I'm not against it. You just want to keep the same world and just give you a new story. But I felt like there was such a cool opportunity to make Last of Us 2 occur parallel to Last of Us 1 as a Firefly, seeking Joel and Ellie. That would have been like a really fucking cool story. That they could have
but then in the end,
made
it
you
doesn't
be the
matter.
ones after them. Exactly. That's the point. That's what makes it so interesting.
They kind of already did that with the first game.
No, but the idea is that you'd be going after them. Like, you're 2 steps behind the entire time. You're going through all the same shit, all the same tribulations. You're still facing that fucking crazy camp with the David guy. And you still have to go through all this stuff to try to catch them. And you can't. But then you can also throw in the side stuff. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. That his choice at the end, how that affects you. Like, what's your path going forward after he decides, I'm saving the girl? Like, I feel like there's such an opportunity there where you can do this whole other story with the bad guys that aren't really bad. They're trying to save humanity. They're trying to get her, to harvest her, to save people. And he's the one that's being selfish. He's the bad guy of the story.
Oh, we were just talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
you play the hero, and the hero is not a good guy.
No, Joel is the bad guy in that world, in that story.
I
Just
think
like
it's a matter
tell-
of perspective, all right? I think he's a good guy, all right? I mean,
It's like nobody understands. I'm the only
He's-
one that understands that Gordon Freeman is a bad guy.
exactly. Well, that's because he is a bad guy. You see?
Gordon Freeman
he-
is the bad guy of Half-Life. Why doesn't anyone get this?
I get that. Just like Kylo Ren is the good guy, and
Kylo Ren is the good guy.
and Joel is the good guy. That's like an oxymoron. Joel is the good guy.
Joel.
No, Joel. There you go. Joel is the good guy. It's just a matter of perspective.
It is, like, it's just, I mean, you see it throughout the story of, like, the stuff that he's done throughout the years to survive, and what he values. He values survival over other people. And in the end, he values his connection to this girl that he made over saving everybody. you
That's
know, and-
because the girl...
And to some people, hey, you're a fucking hero. You know what? You saved that little girl. You're awesome. But to some people, you just damned the entire human race. And
It's
everyone's
because the girl represented his daughter. Like, he couldn't
I
Exactly.
let
know,
that go.
yeah. I
Yes,
mean, in the end,
exactly.
that kind of ends up happening, even though he tries to resist it.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that, like, you hear about his time where he used to be one of those fucking bandits that would kill people for their stuff.
And what do they say about resistance?
What do you mean?
It was made by Gorilla.
No. You just said he tried to resist it. And what do they say about resisting?
It
Resistance
is futile.
Futile?
There you go.
I didn't like the resistance, to be honest with you. I knew from the beginning they were just as bad as the police and the bandits and everybody else. Everyone that survived to that point are not good people.
You're talking about the Fireflies?
Yeah. Talking about the Fireflies. No one there is good. If you survived 20 years after the apocalypse, odds are you're probably not a good person. Because you've had to
True.
do a lot of shitty things to stay that way.
That's,
I mean, look at Walking Dead. You see the degradation of
society,
everyone's
yeah.
moral compass and society, yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's out for themselves. And that's kind of what it's like living in Miami.
shit, this is ground zero right here.
Yeah,
It is ground zero.
exactly. We're screwed. Everyone is screwed.
But that's exactly right. I mean, Last of Us, I feel like was such a good game in that it told a story. I feel like Last of Us is hailed as a good game simply because it's like the Empire Strikes Back of video games. It doesn't end on a happy note. It doesn't end on a, oh my god, the good guys saved the day. It ends on a somber kind of like, what the fuck kind of moment. And it's a great moment. I don't know, you didn't really like the ending, it seems, but I felt like the ending was very
I said it was
captivating.
It was very like it was like
Her reaction, even though
Impactful.
this is CG characters, her reaction tells you everything. It's like, I know you're lying to me, but I accept it. I appreciate it, but I don't know if I agree with it.
it was very
It
strong.
was like
a
this
very,
like
wow.
multi-emotional. ugh.
he knew he couldn't tell her the truth because she would
Right.
just go back. So he was very adamant about, no, I'm not lying to you.
But that's the
with
thing.
a
It's like
fucking
he's,
straight ass, without any fucking hesitation. There was zero hesitation.
that's what the conversation is. Does she know he's lying? I fully believe that she knew he was lying.
That's
but it's
what I
like
got as well.
she
Yeah.
she accepted what he was trying to do for her with everything that they'd gone through, and it was kind of like, I'll take that and let's just move on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of like, it's
That's
like,
what I got from it.
it's like a gut wrenching. I don't
Yes.
know where we're going with this. It's a
Yes.
great ending.
So wouldn't you
non-ending.
want to see what happens to them in the sequel versus going through a storyline of a Firefly, knowing that nothing that person does fucking matters because they
No,
literally
because-
they never catch them.
No, because the idea of by having the Firefly story, I feel like you wouldn't be going up until the ending of part 1. That would be like maybe the halfway point or the first quarter of the game, reaching the part of the ending of part 1, and then you would continue on to see what happens after the end of part 1. So it's like it's a concurrent story to part 1 up until a point, and then it goes on after that, because the idea I would see it as the Firefly.
They're still hunting her down.
The Firefly's hunting for her, but then realizes, wait, are we really trying to save her? Are we trying to save humanity? Like, what are we really after? And then you can put in the side stories of, oh, they're trying to sell her, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. It's like different greeds or corruptions that are going after it.
That's what I'm saying.
And
I don't think the Fireflies are any better than any other
They're not.
faction in that game.
no,
Like,
everybody is out for themselves, and everybody's crazy. Everyone wants to eat each other.
yeah, they're like
The
pissed at
humans
the
are just as
police.
good as the clickers.
Yeah, they're pissed at the police because the police are corrupt and they ration out things and blah 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 and freedom this and freedom that. Bitch, those are the people that are keeping you alive and keeping order
Yep.
in a society where everyone is trying to kill you for your shit. Okay, and like, what are they gonna do if they get the vaccine? You think they're gonna give it to the police first? No, they're gonna give it to their Firefly members. So in the end, you're just as greedy and selfish as the police would have been had they had the vaccine. You know, like, everyone is out for themselves. It's just a matter of perspective. And no one is good after 20 years after the apocalypse.
Did you ever play the DLC with the girl?
No, I literally just finished beating the main game. So
That's a pretty good. It just fills in the backstory of what she talks about during the game, so you should check it out. It's a good
when she went
time.
to the mall with her friend and
The-
that
Yeah.
bit.
It talks about all that.
The only way I would go with David's part 2 being all about the Fireflies is if it ties into what happens in that DLC.
Which I haven't played, so I have no comment.
Exactly. Well, I'm trying to keep it like, I'm trying not to spoil it for you if you're gonna play it, because it's really good. But that's the only way I would, because if it's just like random Firefly people, then I really don't. I want to continue on Joel and Ellie's story, or Joel
Which
and
is
Ellie's
not going to
story.
be in part 2. Part 2 doesn't follow their story. It follows just 2 new people.
Oh, it
If
does?
that's-
Oh, it does?
That's what
Oh,
the
it does?
trailer makes it seem like. The trailer makes it seem like it's about 2 new people, a different kid and adult, and it's just them.
Oh, I guess
and
I
what
haven't
they
seen
do.
I guess I haven't seen the last trailer, because the only one I remember is when she was playing the guitar, when Ellie was playing the guitar.
Yeah, check it out. It was from like the Paris Games Week or some shit, and it just seems like 2 new people. It didn't seem like it had anything to do with the original cast, which I'm
Alright.
okay with. I mean, I don't mind that. I just thought they lost an opportunity where they could have tied everything together. There's just like people get scared of like building off of something that they had already for fear of ruining it or something. I don't know. And
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like people, like, when something is successful, they ran that shit into the ground making remakes. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed. How many fucking versions of that did they make? Trying to tie their weird-ass story together, and that's just a fucking debacle.
They had to wait.
Versus, like, here's this nice package story. You loved it. Great. Well, we have something kind of similar to it building off of the world, but it's a completely different story. Maybe you'll also like that, too. But we're done with that. Like, that's done.
It's like,
you enjoyed that. It had its time. This is something else.
I just don't feel like The Last of Us is a story about the world. I feel like The Last of Us is a story about Joel and Ellie. And
I mean, it is.
It is, yeah.
By going to someone totally different, yeah, you can make a compelling story about the other people, but that's like The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. I don't give a fuck about anybody on Fear the Walking Dead. Fuck all of them.
None of them matter. That's the
they
thing
don't
you're
matter.
running
It doesn't
into.
matter.
None of them really matter.
The only thing good about Fear the Walking Dead, which I don't even think it's a thing anymore, was like the first season, how everything started off normal and then suddenly the outbreak. That's about it.
And it was a terrible first episode, I thought. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
guys
that
watched
was not a very
but
compelling first episode.
I was like, oh god, this is dreadful.
I saw the
I only
first
watched-
season and I was done.
Yeah, I only watched a handful of episodes, and I'm like, not for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again,
it
The
doesn't even have the
characters
same
were
feel.
the best actor was the fucking junkie, the drug junkie. He was the best one out of all of them
Yeah.
because the rest of those fucking actors were terrible.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that show, and I said, you know what, fuck this. Fuck everything that looks like this show. I'm done. So then in random other thoughts, we were talking about Star Wars the last couple weeks, and right now Star Wars had like a dreadful opening, and that's like my word of the day for everybody. Dreadful.
Did it? I thought it did really well in its opening night.
No, in China and overseas, it's had like a really, really bad run. And I was just going to say, what were your thoughts on the movie? Because we spoke about it at length last week. No spoilers. You could just give us like... Danny gave it a 7 out of 10, I think.
I gave it a 6. Adrian and I gave it a 6.5. You gave it a 3.5?
3.
Something.
No, I gave it a 3
Oh, you gave it a 3, which ended up being a 6. or
out of
whatever.
5.
Yeah.
3 out of 5.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, it's a
6.5 out of 10.
3.
I'd say.
Out of 5.
So, I mean, I'll give you my reaction to it. When I went to go see it, I did something that I don't normally do, and I turned off my brain, and I enjoyed the shit out of that movie. I loved that fucking movie when I left the movie theater. And then I thought about it. And then everything started to sink in about how 90% of that movie didn't fucking matter. Nothing of what most of the characters did fucking had any impact on the actual story and what happened. And as I started to think about that, I started to get kind of upset, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that didn't work out, and that didn't matter, and that didn't end up coming into play, and that scene was stupid. And then, like, I just started slowly, like, why did I even like this movie? I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
if you turn off your brain and you just want, you know, a nice little light show, it's fine. But the fighting wasn't even that great. Like, how do you go from the fight scenes of, like, Darth Maul and shit to, like, the fucking... The fight scene with Kylo Ren and Rey and all of those, what order were they? First order?
So it's like, so you're saying it's like porn. Turn off your brain and then it's great. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Sure, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like you spend, like, what? How long is that movie? Like 2+ hours?
Too many
And-
Like
hours.
40-something minutes.
It's an extremely long movie, and you're watching all these different interconnected pieces where you think it's interconnected, and you realize that none of it fucking mattered. And then what really pissed me off, and it pissed me off at the movie theater, and then as it festered over time, was the fact that all the general needed to fucking say is, this is the plan. We have a planet out there that's cloaked from no one knows about. We're making our way there, and everyone is going to abandon ship, and everything's going to be fine. Does she say that? No. For whatever fucking reason, she decides to be all cryptic with Poe, knowing he flies off the handle and does dumb shit, like, oh, I don't know, send a couple of morons out there to run some risky, dangerous mission to save everyone, and in the end only makes things worse and more people died for it. Also, why the fuck does she have to be the one to pilot that plane? Couldn't they have stuck a fucking droid there to autopilot that damn thing?
But then we lose the life of the droid, and we can't have that.
Oh no. As opposed to the life of the general.
I wouldn't.
She has to go out as a martyr.
I would rather have saved the droid.
Yeah, I do prefer saving the droid over that stupid lady.
I didn't like her. There was zero reason for her to have been cryptic about what the situation was like. And it wasn't just with Poe. Let's say she was trying to teach him some grand fucking lesson about, like, responsibility and blah, 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 blah. Like, no one in the fucking crew knew what the plan was. And they were all panicking and trying to jump ship. That's why they had Rose there to guard the escape pods. So she didn't tell fucking anyone what the plan was. Like, what do you fucking expect? How are you planning on keeping order? You had a plan. Why didn't you tell them the plan?
Because
You said
it right there.
Then we wouldn't have a movie.
No. How do they plan to keep order? Well, isn't that the First Order's job? They didn't want to be like keeping order like the First Order. Now, would they? They're the Resistance.
But I'm not even saying about keeping order in the sense of like, you do what you're fucking told. It's no, everyone calm down. This is the plan. This is what you got to do. It's okay.
I know.
We'll figure something out eventually. Everyone is dying that we just lost another ship. They're literally going to kill us in the next, hour. It's okay. Everything will be fine. What? You can't just keep saying that and not explain.
99% of the movie needed no explanation because there was no way to explain any of it.
Yeah.
So they were like, there's no time to explain.
You know what? It's a shame that Matt has, he's working 2 jobs now because he would have, I was kind of giving him the rundown of what we talked about. And he was like, what? You guys are crazy. Blah, 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 blah. It was because of this and this. And in the other movies, they never did this and this and that. And I was like, dude.
And that he liked it?
Oh, yeah. He liked it.
Oh, that he's out of his mind.
He's out of his damn mind.
Yeah, he's been working too many jobs. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about anymore.
Yes. He's lost his mind. I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, there's no way in hell.
There was so much missed potential in that movie.
Exactly,
They made you think that they were going to bring in the Grey Jedi. They never fucking did. It would have been so awesome for fucking Kylo to convince Rey to be like, fuck this shit. Fuck the light side, fuck the dark side. Neither of them are right. Gray side, motherfuckers. This is where it's at.
My theory, which I've proposed in other stuff, is that Kylo is actually the light side and Rey is the dark side. And that's what we're going to come to later on in this whole story, where she's going to embrace the dark side and become the villain of the whole thing. And Kylo is going to be the good guy. That's the redemption of the story. That's my theory in this madness, because everything that you've seen so far has made you think that Kylo is actually the one that has more control between the light and the dark. He does punch things and he breaks elevators.
And he breaks elevators, yeah. He breaks helmets and elevators, and
he's only a father killer. He's not he's not losing himself to the dark side on everything else. But Rey, on the other hand, is taking out the dark side on everything she does. So we'll see. We'll see. I was hoping to see Luke crush things with his ball sack, and he never did.
Yeah.
So then, enough about Star Wars.
Yes.
This is our first podcast back since, I guess, Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
What did you guys do for Christmas? Did you get any good gifts? Apparently, Ivy got a full streaming setup that she's not going to utilize for Christmas. So, what's the good word? What'd you guys do? What'd you guys get? Did Santa give you good stuff?
Don't all go at once now.
Lady first.
I got the PS4 and the games that we just talked about, so that was my holidays. I basically just binged those games.
Did you get Destiny?
No.
Well, then you did not get all the games.
Exactly.
I got all the games I'm interested in right now.
Aww.
I'm not going to play Destiny with you guys.
Bah.
And you shouldn't. I think I'm done playing Destiny myself.
He says it after we're done here, we're going to go play Destiny.
Yeah, I'm going to go jump on it in a little bit. And what did you do, Danny?
Man, I just chilled and hung out with family. Yeah, they came down, they visited, and we hung out. We had the dinners and all that. So
You watch some Netflix and chill?
sure, yeah, I guess.
I watch Netflix and chill with family. Oh boy.
Except
not
without,
good.
except just chill, no Netflix.
So then, during Christmas, I came to an interesting conclusion. And I want to hear your perspective on this conclusion.
Wait, hold on. You never said what you did, or like how
I
was
didn't
it?
do shit. I had a
didn't?
baby crying the entire time, which is leading me to my next point.
I see.
As we had this yelling little human figuring out what Christmas is, we started to wonder, how young does someone have to be before you get them gifts for Christmas? Because
I mean,
our
how
child
old?
was a month old for Christmas. It didn't make much sense to me to start getting gifts for Christmas.
Of course
when
not.
he
It
didn't
doesn't
know
make any-
what the fuck was going on.
Man, like maybe small trinkets of stuff a baby will actually play with.
A small
but-
trinket.
The thing is, you don't get the gift for the baby. You get the gift for the parents. So you yourself wouldn't have to buy a Christmas gift for your 1-month-old, but other people would give you a gift for your 1-month-old, like whatever it is that you guys may need for the baby.
But that's part of the
Sounds like a baby
shower,
shower
no?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds like a baby shower thing.
It's Christmas is still a holiday. I mean,
I suppose.
I guess.
Because we were kind of caught at a crossroads, like, what do we do? And we ended up getting him gifts anyways. Well,
You bought him. You bought him a car. You bought him a fucking.
yeah, I felt like a fucking asshole opening up gifts. And I'm like, look, motherfucker, like your shit. Like your shit, man.
You
What's
bought him a
wrong with
cell.
you?
You bought
Don't
him
you
a.
appreciate what I'm doing for you?
You bought him an iPhone. You bought him a PS4.
hey,
Yeah,
these
he's
are all
got
for the
one of
baby. I
those-
swear.
Yeah, exactly.
I got him a real Batmobile.
Yes.
Oh, wait till he gets a little bit older, then you can make that excuse. No, it's for the kid. I swear.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I was like, I wasn't sure about how that whole thing went, and we started having a conversation about it, and it was like, yeah, we should do it. It's his first Christmas. We should do something nice for him. And I was like,
He's literally not going to remember
suppose.
it. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
know. He's not going to remember like the next 3 of them. So he might
Unless
as
you show him
well.
pictures, but then by that point, it's gonna be like, well, awesome.
Even if we show him pictures, he's going to be an angsty teenager, and he's going to
Exactly.
be like, "Fuck
Exactly.
you guys, I'm going out with friends." And I'll be like, "All right."
interesting
bro.
conversation. I see you're laying down the law already, Dad.
I'm gonna be like, "All right, peace."
No, I think
Have fun.
I think it's silly to buy your 1-month-old Christmas gifts. It's cute.
I thought
Pretty
I thought it was silly, but I ended up getting stuff that was functional that he was going to need in the future anyways, like within the next few months before the next Christmas. So I was like, all right, this will work.
It's
More
stuff you needed
diapers?
to buy for him anyway.
Yeah, more diapers.
More
It's
diapers.
a box of diapers.
Merry Christmas.
It's your
He's all-
equivalent of socks for a while.
He's
Yeah,
all
for
smiles
real.
and it's like, yay.
So yeah, that was fun. Christmas time was fun. Did you guys do anything crazy for New Year's?
Netflix and chill.
Not really.
I didn't
know,
need
I'm
to.
living
That's
it up. I'm a
TMI.
wild one over here.
TMI. I didn't need to know about your Netflixing and chilling.
No,
All
I don't
night,
like going out
baby.
for New Year's because all the drunk drivers and it gets crazy. Fuck it.
There's no big Renfests
I could
party
just
for
drink
New
at
Year's?
home, like a sad person.
I kind of agree with that. I think that's a lot of fun. You just kind of sit at home. Speaking of, we got to do that game night with all of us. That'd be good too.
That's true, yeah.
Do it over a New Year's.
Over in New Year's.
We'll do it next New Year's.
Jeez.
We'll all be sad and look into the camera and drink.
Wah, wah.
Danny, nothing. New Year's.
Nah. Just chilled.
God,
Hung
we
out with
live
the
such
family.
exciting lives.
We just hung out with the family.
Just
that's about
good
it.
enough.
Just good enough. Yes.
Our motto.
That's what we aim for. Just good enough. So you guys have nothing to add?
No, honestly, I enjoyed the holidays, being able to relax because that was the extent of my vacation all year. Like, I didn't take any vacation days because I'm planning on going to Europe next year. Or this year, technically. So, it was nice.
Where in Europe?
England and Ireland.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Are you gonna go in full Renfest garb?
What the fuck? What does the Renfests have to do
That's
with
so
any
random.
of that?
I'm gonna go in my full Old English garb to
See, that's the other fucking stereotype I have to deal with. Oh, you do this thing, it must take over your entire life, and everything you do must revolve around this thing.
But look how you're dressed right now.
I dress normally.
She looks like the American flag.
God damn you, Dan.
Which is why it doesn't make sense for someone who's a Renfest person to be dressed like the American flag.
Since when does the American flag is gray with white stars all over it? That's all it is. That's all
That
it
doesn't look
is.
gray. That looks blue.
It's the sad version of the American flag.
It's a sad
It's
version.
gray. It's grayscale. Well, that's cool. That'll be a fun trip to go over to England and Ireland. Ireland and Scotland are on our list. We definitely want to go at some point. That'd be awesome. Just right now with all the fucking chaos in the world and with the
Chaos is
baby
always
and
gonna exist
money.
in the world.
I don't know about that. One day chaos will end.
And then we'll set up a federation.
Trump will make the world great again.
The Federation
God,
of,
no.
Uni- Hold
I
on.
thought you were trying to skirt the political talk, and then you brought it right back.
The United Federation of Planets. Is that what you were gonna say?
We should do that. Let's start it. Which will
The
lead me
United
to my
Federation
next.
of Planets.
First thing you gotta do
Exactly.
is get rid of money.
Exactly.
See how well
That's
that
what
works
leads
out.
me
Gene
to my
Roddenberry
next.
had it in the Next Generation.
That leads
I'm
me to
telling
my
you,
next
get rid of money.
conversation of cryptocurrency. There we go. We use cryptocurrency to start the Planetary Federation of Nincompoops.
The United Federation of Planets. Union Kaput. Oh hell.
So you really don't know what cryptocurrency is?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No.
It's money from a crypt. No, that's not it.
You can literally tell me anything, and I'll believe you right now
Well, are you
until I
familiar
Google
with-
it.
It's Gil from Final Fantasy.
It's Gil from Final Fantasy. It
You
might as
buy
well be.
Phoenix Downs with it.
All right, I'm googling this shit.
Cryptocurrency is a set of different digital currencies that are all part of a blockchain that what they use is like a peer-to-peer ledger that takes count of what every transaction that occurs throughout time or whatever. So every time there's a transaction, it goes into the ledger, which is part of the blockchain that everybody is a part of. So everyone knows what's happening at all times. And then there's hash pairings between who owns the currency and the amount of currency that it is. So when there's a hash for currency, the person who has the paired hash, then it combines the two and it knows that's the owner of that money. Following me so far?
Not at all. You should have stuck to Gil from Final Fantasy. That's
It
more...
is Gil from Final Fantasy.
Okay, awesome. I got it.
No, it's. Have you heard of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what Bitcoin is?
No.
It's a cryptocurrency.
It's a cryptocurrency.
So the thing with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin started and it was like one of the first ones, and it just skyrocketed because it was the first one to really gain traction for usage in other applications of real world stuff, where people were using it to buy random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The others have all had specialized things associated with it. Like there's a dental one that's only for dentists. There's one for banks. There's all these different little ones that have made this whole huge market of different digital currencies. And the thing that's cool about it is that none of this shit really exists, but it all has value. So there are people that have made hundreds of millions of dollars just fucking around, sitting at their computer like, oh, doing that.
Mining for this shit.
Well, Bitcoin was miners in the early
Yeah,
days.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because what happened with Bitcoin in the early days is that people would put these complex mathematical problems and have computers solve these mathematical problems. Then they would associate a value to solving that problem with how much effort you put into solving the problem. And then you would get Bitcoins from that, and it was like percentages of a Bitcoin. And 3 years ago or 4 years ago, a Bitcoin was like $15. A Bitcoin now is like $15,000. So if you had invested a few $100 into Bitcoin a few years ago, you're sitting really pretty right now. Which makes us all seem like fucking morons for not having done that.
Exactly.
Because I remember seeing Bitcoin on Newegg and I was like, ha ha ha, people are using
Chololo.
Bitcoin to buy $30 routers. And then here I am and I'm like, fuck, why didn't I buy Bitcoin? But now you know, there's your lesson in cryptocurrency. And
knowing
people are
is
going
half
to be
the
writing in saying, that's all wrong, you're a fucking moron. And I'll be like, you're right.
You're right, because I didn't buy Bitcoin.
You're right, because
You're
it's
not
Final
wrong.
Fantasy from Gil.
It's fucking-
It's Final Fantasy from Gil.
It's Final Fantasy from Gil.
Oh my god.
This has been the Hardcore Casuals podcast.
No, you gotta sound more fake when you start your laugh.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No.
Oh, there we go, like that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I knew the Adrian had to come out at some point. Keeping him repressed for too long.
This has
But
been
yeah.
the Hardcore Casuals podcast.
That's what cryptocurrency is. No. Well, now you know. Dun, 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 dun.
And knowing's
more
half
you
the battle.
know.
G.I. Joe. The more you know.
So you're not interested at all in what that is?
All slogans.
And you had no idea what any of that was?
No, not at all.
She looks bored.
Yeah.
You had no, like the whole time he was explaining, I was looking at your face. You were like,
Mostly because I'm still lost, but you know, it's content. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay,
literally-
okay,
I'm
so okay,
No,
so
God, no, don't keep going.
cryptocurrency.
oh.
Okay, let me get into this.
Oh god.
He's gonna bring out a pie chart.
Let me give you the crazy hot chart.
He's gonna give you stats and shit.
I mean,
Speaking
money
of stats,
itself
look,
is
here-
just a a construct that we have. It actually doesn't have any real value. The coins have some value because of the metal, but not even that much.
So look,
Like-
here's a crazy stat for you. The whole thing that I was telling you about Bitcoin being $15 and going up to $15,000. Less than a year ago, Bitcoin had 80% of the cryptocurrency market. Now it has about 35% of the cryptocurrency market. And it's still worth $15,000. Doesn't that blow your mind? I could see how just mind blown you are right now. As she rocks back and forth in her chair like, I could give 3 fucking shits right now. Can we talk about Final Fantasy again?
All I heard was Final Fantasy.
I would have more to contribute if we did.
It'd be funny if, like, at the end of your sentence, you look over at her screen and she's not there anymore. She comes back with like a water or something.
Okay,
Alright,
so say in Final Fantasy, you go to the auction house. Does any of the Final Fantasies have an auction house?
I don't know. Maybe the online one.
Probably Final Fantasy.
Maybe. Okay, so
11,
let's
I
go to
think, had
World of
one.
Warcraft. World of Warcraft.
Sure.
You go to the auction house. And then nowadays you can buy game time with gold, in-game gold. You could sell that game time for real currency. Like, you can buy the in-game time for the tokens and you can sell the tokens. That shit isn't real. But you can still make money off of that. That's cryptocurrency in a sense. That's Blizzard currency. That's B dollars.
$P. What the hell?
It's the same shit that they were selling like crazy in Diablo that just fucked us all.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's right. The sole reason why they killed the auction house in frickin' Diablo.
Fucking Diablo.
Fucking Diablo.
So yeah, I'm done. That's all I had to bring up. That's all I had to talk about.
Mic dropped. And the whole time she's like,
Cryptocurrency, bitch.
all right.
You guys haven't seen anything like new movies or anything that you want to bring up?
Jeez. I saw Blade Runner 2049. It was good. Harrison Ford was in it for a little bit longer than 5 minutes.
I saw Blade Runner 2049. It was good.
It was good.
It was a while
The
ago, and
end.
I'm not sure if you guys already talked about it, but I saw Bright, the Netflix movie with Will Smith.
Oh shit, good call. I watched that garbage also. What did you think of that?
Well, we all know what you think of it now.
It was great.
I laughed quite a bit, actually.
At how bad it was.
I mean, Will Smith was Will Smith, but I kind of like him as Will Smith, so there's that. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it.
I don't think
What
it was
movie was
intended
this?
to be funny. That's the problem.
What movie was this?
Bright.
Oh, geez. I think that I skipped that one. I guess I
You
didn't.
see it? It's Will
I-
Smith
no.
as a cop, and he's a human, but there's also orcs and elves, and there's this giant battle over a wand that is super powerful or whatever, but if the person that is not a Bright touches it, they blow up.
You see, now here's the thing about that movie, which kind of bothers me and it bothers a lot of people. Max Landis wrote the script for Bright. And a lot of people really liked his original script. They thought, wow, this is really cool because the premise at its core is an interesting premise. What if Tolkien fantasy was in the modern day? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. You still have elves, you still have orcs, you still have humans. I don't know if you noticed, but it seemed like the dwarf was kind of like meshed with a human in being the elf's security guard because it's a big guy that looked like a
there's
dwarf
fairies,
with the red hair and
there was a centaur cop at one
oh
point.
yeah, there was a centaur cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that a centaur or a minotaur? I always confuse the difference.
No,
between the two of
minotaur
them.
is like a half bull and then like standing on two legs or whatever, and then
A minotaur is a
Centaur
cybernetic
is half
Vex
horse.
from Destiny 2.
Right, right. No, that not that
Look,
minotaur.
look.
It's a Vex monster.
Motaro from Mortal Kombat 3 was a centurion.
Yeah, so that cop was a centaur. And there's like little moments like that where you're like, oh, yeah, that is an interesting premise. But then what do? They go and shit.
I mean, how is the centaur cop not funny? You have all the cops that are mounted on horses. That's literally a horse cop.
I'm kind of.
It would have been funny if that was in Canada. That would have been hilarious if it was a Canadian cop.
Canadian cop.
They cross the border and all the cops are centaurs. Now you're like, holy fuck! Now that's awesome.
So I mean, they did do all of that. What you're saying. So where did they lose you?
They didn't lose me. What happened was Max Landis' original script, from what I understand, from what I've read of people's comments, was that they were after a witch. They weren't after another elf. And then that whole dynamic of the story, and then having that whole interrogation scene where it's like, here's our plot point by plot point by plot point. A lot of things were just kind of like diluted and switched around for the sake of the director. David Ayer's the one that kind of just pulled strings and said, I want to do it like this. And if you read Max Landis' tweets, he kind of gives the impression that David Ayer, being a bigger name in Hollywood, was able to pull his weight and say, I want to do things my way, and they said okay. And that kind of ruined the whole story, even though they promised Landis the idea.
I mean,
but
you could say that about every single project, every single movie, every single show. You're going to have the writer that has one vision. You're going to have the producer that has one vision. You're going to have the director that has one vision. And those visions are never going to be the same.
But the
And
thing
it's
is that
gonna
when the writer put as much effort into building this world as they did, who is the director or the producer to say anything about their vision?
They're the ones
when
with,
this
the,
whole
with
world,
the clout and the money.
Yeah, exactly. This whole world was already built. All you had to do was film the world. And then you go and you're trying to change the story. You just wrecked everything about it. Like, what are you doing? I don't know what his original script is.
I'm not saying that the story that the writer wrote wouldn't have been better. I'm just saying, like, it's the
you enjoyed
kind of
it
problem,
anyways, and you.
No, it's the kind of problem that every single script, like ever that it existed, has faced. Unless you writing, directing, and producing the entire thing yourself, you're gonna have other people change the original.
But
script.
it all boils down to the fact that you thought it was funny, and it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy.
How is it not a comedy?
It's an action drama. And
that was not an action drama.
It is. Technically it is. It is not a comedy.
It is a fucking comedy.
That's because of how it came out at the end. But it was not intended to be a comedy. It was supposed to be a serious portrayal of what a Tolkien modern day world would be. And then it kind of turned into this blighted thing that you thought was funny.
This is the first time I'm hearing of this movie. I'm looking at this stuff here and I don't recognize a single damn thing.
It's a Netflix original, so you probably just didn't catch it.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should have Netflix at this point.
I don't have
Seriously,
Netflix.
I don't watch TV. I watch Netflix, and that's pretty much it.
I don't watch
me
TV
too.
either.
I'm just a Netflix person. But yeah, that movie was terrible. I did watch a different
Wow.
Netflix original called
Okay, that makes sense now. All right.
Before I Wake, and I thought that was pretty good.
What's
They
that
just
about?
released it a few days ago. It's about a kid who's able to dream things to life. Like whatever he dreams comes true. Like
That would be
What-
horrifying.
while he's dreaming, things become real.
Oh, that would be
around
so
him.
horrifying.
Wait, there's actually Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency season 2 is all about a kid that does that.
No.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, he dreams. I mean, it's a little bit. It's different in the sense that his situation is different, but the whole thing is that the kid, when he goes to sleep, he dreams, and those dreams, whatever things he dreams of, become physically real in the real world. And it's like,
So the plot of the movie is that this couple lose their son and they go to a foster agency and they adopt this other kid that's been bouncing from home to home, losing his parents, or the parents go crazy and they lose custody of the child. So this couple go, okay, fine, we'll take this kid on. He seems like a good kid. And they bring him in and they start to notice little by little that the kid has abilities. Like, they begin to see in the middle of the night the son that they lost. And it's because the kid was dreaming of the son they lost from photos that he was seeing in the house. And then little by little, you start to see that not only do his dreams come true, but his nightmares come true too.
That's what I'm saying. That premise is horrifying.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So wait,
I've
so
seen
the things that he
commercials for this.
dreams physically, like after he wakes up, are they still there?
No, as soon as he wakes up, everything disappears.
Oh, then it's not real.
But it is
More
real.
like a hologram.
No, while
no,
he's
no, no, no,
dreaming,
no, no.
it's very real.
Yeah,
And that's
so
the
it can
thing.
kill you.
So the dead son, does he retain all his memories of his parents? Does he know anything? Because this kid
No,
couldn't
because-
possibly know any of that. It's just
Exactly.
It's just a
The
boy
dead
that looks
son-
like your dead son.
It's essentially a
Exactly.
husk.
That's fucking
The dead son.
horrifying.
The
It's-
dead son is there, and the
Yeah.
parents could interact with him and they could love him. But all that dead son knows is what the dreaming kid knows of the dead son,
Which
Exactly.
is nothing. Which is a picture.
which is nothing.
Exactly. So essentially, it's just basically a husk that they're interacting with.
That's fucking
So then,
horrifying.
naturally, the parents who are in grief from losing their son start like trying to make him remember more about the kid, so they could experience more of their kid when the kid sleeps. But then, little by little, they start to realize the nightmares, and then the nightmares take hold. And then the movie's a horror film,
Yeah.
so I was pleasantly surprised because most horror films suck, but I was like, this was a fun time. I liked it. It was good.
Before I wake.
You should check
Oh.
it out. Before
and
I
that
wake.
was a Netflix original. Matt, Netflix,
Netflix original.
has a lot of hit or misses, but the ones that are hit are so fucking good.
Yeah,
And I
like
love that
just
they
now.
have the freedom to do that, to pursue.
Did you watch?
Like,
Did you watch Master of None? That just won a Golden Globe.
no, what's that?
It's the series by Aziz Ansari. Do you know Aziz Ansari?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm horrible with names. That's
Oh
not...
my god, he's the Indian guy from Parks and Rec.
Oh, got it.
It's a whole show. It's a whole show about him and his dating life, and it's a really, really good show. But the thing about it is that, like, my wife and I talk about it all the time about how racism and sexism and all these things become very pointed. Like, it's all about this race or it's all about this sex. It's never about the problem as a whole. Where racism in general, it's not black, white, yellow, brown, purple, orange, burgundy. It's about the problem in general. Prejudice in general sucks. And what he does perfectly throughout the show is that he encompasses the problems altogether and he comments on them as a comedian in a comedic way. But he's really pointing them out to you. He's like, look how fucking ridiculous this is. And then you notice it. Like, a lot of the show is him being an Indian actor, or I don't know if he's Pakistani officially, but every audition he goes to, they're like, oh, but we want you to do it in an Indian accent. Like, thank you, come again, that kind of thing. And he's like,
Oh my
no,
God.
I'm an American. I don't want to talk like that. I want to be in a show where I can be an American. Why do I have to be one of those offensive Indian guys? Stereotypes. And they're like, oh no, but this show only has enough room for one Indian and we can't have two of you guys. But what do you mean? So like a lot of that stuff happens, and then he goes and there's like one episode that has this long montage of all the different stereotyping that you see in film of all the different races, and it's fucking brilliant. I watched that and I was like, kudos to you, good sir. Because that's the kind of shit that we need more of. Not all of this, oh, this matters or that matters or this is the problem or this is the problem about this one particular group. No, it's about everybody. And we got to get out of this shit together.
Is this a TV show or a movie?
It's a series. It's a TV show
A series. Okay.
on Netflix. Master of None.
Master of None.
It's
I'll
a really
take a
good
look at
show. It's all about his dating life and all the stuff that he goes through, and they go through a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's fantastic. I was like, fucking A. Aziz,
You have
good
done well,
dude.
good sir. You have
you're
done
a
well.
good dude, Aziz. I like you. We need more stuff like that. There's a lot of rom-com to it, but it's realistic. It's not bullshit kind of rom-com stuff. Do you
Which
watch
you would
that?
be an expert on, right?
Oh, I love that shit. But you're a girl. Do you love the rom-com
Fuck
stuff?
you, man. Speaking of stereotypes, gender specific. Come on.
Come
now.
on, it's like you're a girl. You love that shit. No, but
I do, but
seriously
that's
speaking,
besides the point. Okay.
man, Devil Wears Prada is my favorite movie ever. But look, seriously speaking, though, rom-coms.
What about him?
Every single rom-com, I can't say every single one of them, but 99% of them has the point in it where they tell the guy, no, man, you gotta fight for the girl. You gotta go do some outlandish show of emotion to win her back or something.
That would scare most girls off.
Exactly. So, like, every time I see this shit in a rom-com, I'm like, you're teaching guys to be the creepiest motherfucker in the world. What are you doing? No woman wants that shit. If a girl tells a guy, no, I'm done with you, and the guy comes back and he holds a fucking stereo over his head playing some song, she's gonna be like, creeper, what the fuck are you doing on my front lawn? Get out of here. I'm gonna call
It's
the
like
cops.
the 80s, bitch.
So yeah, I was curious about that, like from your perspective, what you thought about that, because I think that every single movie is geared to making guys think, and you're, okay, bringing it back to the Renfest shit again, I'm sorry to bring it back, but there's a lot of guys that, especially in the internet community, that think the milady thing is like a chivalrous thing. To go up to a girl and be like, milady, and like, no, you're weird. I think that's the common response that a woman would give. No, you're weird. So everyone listening, if you're thinking about approaching a girl and saying milady, please don't. This ends our broadcast period. Thank you.
And this has been dating advice with David.
Please trust me. Don't do that. Ivy will back me up. Ivy,
He's a pro. He's married and has a kid and everything.
The truth
I've done
is he
this
did
once or twice before.
Exactly. The truth is he did that to his wife, and he was like, I mean, before they were married.
I think everything has context. I think the most important thing is to pick up on social cues, and the people that walk up to you out of the blue and say "milady" does not understand social cues, and that's the major flaw right there.
They're called
So.
introverts.
I mean, yeah, some
What
people just
is
never
your-
learn how to function in society.
Then what is your preferred pickup line? Not even pickup, just introduction, where a guy just walks up to you randomly and is like, we're giving dating advice with Ivy now.
Oh God, no.
If someone wants to know, like, how do you just approach someone and be like, how do I get in there? How do I make that first move? How do I...
The
go
problem
from
is
first
she
base
needs
to
to be
third
interested
base?
to begin with. If she's not interested, it doesn't matter if you have the most fabulous pickup line in the world. It's not going to happen.
I don't,
So,
I
for
don't
example-
necessarily agree with that. I know
No,
a lot of
no.
people that are not interesting and they make it happen.
I mean,
Through sheer adamant brute force. It's
Yeah,
just
but
like
that shit-
perseverance.
that shit, I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, I know. But, like, that's the brute force approach, and you're going to fail a lot before that succeeds with anyone. And you got to question the person you succeeded with, because
That's true.
something's wrong with you. But at the same time, I feel like the girl has to be interested, because, for example, and this is a story that my boyfriend loves to tell, but we've been dating for
I'm looking
almost
forward to this one.
for almost 5 years, and we did meet at the Renaissance Festival, and I was dressed up. And I got hit on by plenty of other people that the first thing that they said to me was compliment my outfit and then ask me weird questions about Renaissance Fair.
And then he came up to you and said, "Milady."
Almost. So I saw him, and I was like, oh, he looks cute. I'm interested. I'm going to wait for him to talk to me. So I was like fucking sitting there like looking at a booth of coins or something, waiting for him to get enough nerve to come up and talk to me. Takes him a while. He finally does. And The entire time he's trying to figure out what to say to me, what his opening line is going to be. He's like rejecting things in his head. He doesn't know what he's going to say. So he says the first thing that comes to his mind. You know what that first thing was?
You like
I like
bags?
your cup. I was
I like your
holding
what?
a mug. He's like, I like your cup.
Oh my god.
If anyone else, had I not been interested to begin with, had come up to me and said that line, I would have been like, all right, weirdo, nice, and walked off. But because I had already, like, had interest in him, I thought, all right, that's weird, but, you know, he's nervous. We'll just continue the conversation. And sure enough, we talked, and it was normal. But, guys, it's so hard to break the ice. It's so hard to find that opening to even start a conversation. And that's completely the fault of the girl. The girl has to be interested, otherwise it doesn't matter how interesting you are. If she's not interested, she's going to close that wall off right away. That's been dating advice with Ivy.
All right, Danny. Dating advice with Danny.
No,
Let's just keep the
No.
just no.
Just no. Hey, I'm giving it to you from my perspective. I mean,
I always enjoy
guys
hearing
have
the
it
other
rough.
perspective.
Guys have it rough in the dating game. I'm not gonna lie. Girls kind of hold all the cards when it comes to that.
I think you've helped a lot of people today.
When did this become a stream at a podcast about dating?
It's hardcore casuals about everything. We discuss a variety of topics, but we're not experts at any of them. Please enjoy our journey of mediocrity.
My number one tip then would be learn social cues. That will save you a world of hurt. Moving on.
No, but that's tough because a lot of people struggle with that. That's like the hardest part, especially in this day and age where everything is digital. People don't know how to be social anymore. It's like every little bit, everyone's so guarded over everything. And I feel like that's the hardest part from the guy's perspective. That even if a woman is interested, most women are so guarded that even if they have the slightest interest, they make it difficult. And then the guy's like, you know what, fuck it, this girl's not interested, I'm done. And then they move on to the next one. And then they complain, oh, why
And
can't they
girls
find a
miss
good
out
guy?
on
Yeah.
and girls miss out on a lot of good guys because of that. I'm not saying that, no one's perfect. We all have our flaws.
I beg to differ, but
Did you play any new games, David?
Horizon. And that's why I thought it sucked.
That's
I'm
what
kidding.
God damn it.
No, I didn't think it sucked. What else did I play recently? I played something else. I just play a lot of random shit. Like I played Hue, which is an interesting game. Which is about just like a kid's journey to understanding his mother through color, which is an interesting story. It's like a mother writing to her son about like life and everything and equating it to color. And then as you progress through the story, you start picking up
Is he
new
blind?
colors. No, it's just the game starts in black and white. And then you pick up new colors and then you
Oh.
solve puzzles through color. Like
That's
you'll have
interesting.
it's like a platformer where you solve the puzzles by changing the color of the background to hide
Yeah.
certain elements on the screen. It's a really fun game.
That sounds like it's definitely tailored to children, though.
No, it's not. It's definitely got a mature story to it. But it could be for kids. Like it's one of those that you played as a kid and you're like, oh, man, this is really cool. But then you look at it as an adult and you're like, fuck.
This is
Why,
deep.
why you got me in the feels, man? That's not cool. But that was a cool one. I played some other shit, but I don't remember now. Like I was just on Horizon for so long that I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I sunk in a good 100 hours on that.
that game's fucking long.
If you do everything, yeah.
Of course, you got to do
I'm
everything.
I'm in for a treat. I'm
don't know.
in for a treat.
Well, you got
You just-
plenty of streaming material with that game.
No,
Yeah, you just burned through the shit of Origins. Now imagine playing that. It's like going back to back.
I don't think. Well, see, that's why I did Destiny today. It was also to offset the fact because I just finished like a long ass game, and now I'm gonna jump into another long ass game that I'm understanding is now longer than Origins. So, yep.
Depends on what you want to do with it. You can skip all the errands if you don't want to do them.
Well, it depends because if I get invested like I did with Origins, then I'm gonna find myself doing everything.
Then you're stuck for a good 100 hours there.
Netflix Netflix orders Bright sequel.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Surprise.
Hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray.
And look, to me, it's not going to win any fucking awards, but I appreciate it as a comedy. Whether it intended to be a comedy or not, I appreciated it as a comedy.
It might win one, a Razzie. One of the worst movies ever. Did you watch Black Mirror yet?
No.
Oh my god.
But the thing is, I've seen a few episodes out of context because...
well, it is out of context. It's like...
well, I know, but like
Twilight
my
Zone.
boyfriend was watching it, and then he ended up watching one of the final episodes that kind of ties some stuff together, so he was explaining it to me, so I feel like most of it's been ruined anyway.
Oh, of the latest season?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last season did that. It's the first time that they actually tied some shit together, and it was
Yeah.
like, whoa, what the fuck?
The thing is, I'd seen the vast majority of the things, and then I'm kind of watching like the last episode with him, and I'm like, I can pick out like, oh, that was from that episode, but I didn't see all of them, so I'm like, kind of lost on some of the stuff. So he filled me in on that part.
And did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean,
Did he like it?
oh, he loved it. He loved that second season.
Tell him he's wrong.
Why?
Tell him
You,
he's wrong.
I feel like, David, you're like one of those people that it's so hard to get your fucking seal of approval, man.
It is.
You are very bourgeoisie on this shit.
No, I'm like Nintendo. I do not give my golden stamp to
He
anybody.
hates. No, he's like IGN. He never gives anything a 9.0. He hates everything and he loves to bitch about everything. So
No, that's more like Eurogamer. Eurogamer gives nothing a 9.0 or an
shit.
8.0 for that matter. They're like
But you
6s and
see-
7s all the time.
The director had a vision, and you have a different vision. Which one's
And my
better?
vision
Who
is
knows?
better.
Oh god. The point
see-
is, you're trying to tell a different story. You're trying to find a different angle to a story of a script that's already been written. How is this any different from what the directors decided to do with Bright?
The difference is that what I'm doing is right, and what they're doing is wrong.
I'm
it all
trying
boils
to
down to a
pose-
matter of
I'm
opinion,
trying
and
to
David's
pose
opinion
a
is
fucking
right.
rhetorical question, and you're just
You have
not
to-
having it.
You have to ask me, is my idea the great idea or the greatest idea? And that's what it boils down to. My idea is the greatest idea. Don't bother me with good ideas. I have the great or greatest idea.
Your ideas are the only ones that get your seal of approval.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's like, your idea is okay, but my idea, great. No, that's not at all true. It's totally true.
It's totally. I was gonna say,
Well, that about wraps it up. This has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast. We're three childhood friends whose motto is just good enough. We're hardcore about a variety of topics, but too casual to be experts at any of them. Be sure to join us next time on this journey of mediocrity. I'm David.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Ivy.
Be sure to join us on Twitch, where we've been doing live streams every day. Danny's been up to Assassin's Creed. He's going to be streaming Horizon soon. So definitely check us out on twitch.tv/thehardcorecasuals. And you can catch some of our past stuff on YouTube. And if you haven't checked out our spoiler cast ahead of The Last Jedi, go check that out because you'll have a mouthful from Adrian about how that all went. And you'll be listening for, I think, a good 2 hours or something because he didn't stop talking. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you around next time. See you later.
Well, that has been the Hardcore
yeah.
Casuals Podcast.
This fucking guy.
Well, that has been the Hardcore Casuals Podcast.
What the fuck was
I
that?
actually forgot about what. How do I end this? Laugh amongst yourselves. Laugh.
Hey!
We end up talking about random shit afterwards, and then Adrian starts talking about. Adrian's already talking about erections, and then you're talking about erections, and then I'm still going. 155, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Audiences are having more trouble than ever distinguishing the great from the merely competent. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'm giving you is great. This is the merely competent. I'm still going. 26, 27, 28.
What the hell are you staring at?